Why am I here? What is the purpose of life? Why should I care about anything if all things are destined to end? These are the questions that haunted one of the greatest writers of history, Leo Tolstoy. Despite having acquired almost everything, fame, wealth, a loving family, and success, Tolstoy found himself at war with these very thoughts. He was often regarded as the Cormac McCarthy of his time, known for his great works War and Peace and Anna Karenina, which still stand as monumental achievements in literature. Tolstoy also owned a vast estate, had a beautiful family, and was married to a devoted wife. Yet despite these worldly successes, something shifted when he reached the age of 50. Suddenly, nihilistic thought struck him with overwhelming force, and all the happiness he had once known seemed to dissipate. A man who once embraced life with gusto, indulging in every fleeting pleasure, now found himself trapped in an abyss of doubt, questioning everything. Why did this happen? How did he emerge from it? This existential crisis Tolstoy faced is not uncommon, and it mirrors the very questions that Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus have challenged us to confront. In Stoicism, we learn that the pursuit of meaning isn't found in wealth, status, or fleeting pleasures, but in the cultivation of inner virtue and the acceptance of the impermanence of life. By understanding the nature of suffering, the inevitability of death, and the fleeting nature of happiness, we come to a deeper sense of peace. In this video, we shall explore Tolstoy's personal struggle as he confronted these profound existential dilemmas and how his eventual transformation embodies the very Stoic principles of resilience, faith, and living in accordance with nature. If you're looking for more insights on how to live a life of purpose and tranquility in the face of uncertainty, join us here at Stoic Trench. Subscribe and explore the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy, where we face life's challenges not with despair, but with courage and clarity. From a young age, Tolstoy was skeptical of religious doctrines, especially Christianity. He lost both of his parents early, leaving him with a sense of abandonment and disillusionment. The church, in particular, gave him a negative impression. As Tolstoy once wrote, "What was once accepted as truth, supported by external pressures, gradually falls away under the influence of knowledge and life experience." His early years, marred by tragedy and uncertainty, set the stage for his later struggles with faith. For nearly 50 years, Tolstoy lived a life seemingly untouched by major concerns, successful, wealthy, and surrounded by his family. But a shift occurred. He found himself plunged into an intellectual crisis, an overwhelming existential despair where sleep became his only refuge. The weight of his thoughts pressed so intensely upon him that he sought solace in sleep, finding it a temporary escape from the relentless barrage of questions concerning his purpose and existence. In his essay, A Confession, Tolstoy admitted that, at his lowest, he had to trick himself into not ending his own life. As nihilism consumed him, his mind became like that of an emotional toddler, endlessly asking, why? Why life? Why existence? Why death? He felt there was something profoundly wrong with his soul. In Anna Karenina, the character Levin embodies this same turmoil, caught in an endless loop of why fixations, trapped in his search for meaning in life and death. Tolstoy echoed these thoughts. If not now, then tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then in 30 years. Does it make any difference? These thoughts drove him to contemplate suicide, yet instead of succumbing to despair, he chose a different path. A journey in search of meaning, a quest for ultimate peace. Tolstoy turned to philosophy, science, and various ideologies, seeking answers. One key turning point in his journey came when he reflected deeply on a parable he encountered. It was a story about a man fleeing from a wild beast who found an abandoned well and jumped in, only to discover a dragon waiting at the bottom. In his panic, the man grabbed a branch growing from the well's side, trying to avoid the dragon's jaws. Amid his dire predicament, he noticed drops of honey on the leaves of the branch. In that moment of danger, he reached out and tasted the honey, distracted for a brief time from his mortal fear. Tolstoy recognized this parable as a mirror of his own life. Like the man in the well, he was caught between two extremes, the wild beast of existential dread above and the dragon of death below. Yet in the midst of his suffering, he found moments of sweetness, small distractions that kept him alive and searching for meaning.
Rather than falling into the dragon's jaws, Tolstoy chose to keep searching, exploring every ideology he could. He turned to philosophy and science, reading the works of Solomon, Socrates, and Buddha. Yet none of these provided the final answers he sought. These teachings ultimately led to one grim conclusion. Happy is he who has not been born. Death is better than life. They left him with little comfort, suggesting that one must free oneself from the bonds of life. Tolstoy also turned to science. While it offered knowledge, he found little solace in its cold rationality. He saw Darwinism as embodying nihilism, reducing human beings to mere accidents of the universe, nothing more than lumps of energy, valuable only while we are healthy and destined for death once our bodies age. Science, to him, offered no comfort regarding the purpose of life or how one might live with meaning. Disillusioned by both philosophy and science, Tolstoy began to observe the lives of the people around him. After much reflection, he identified 4 distinct ways people cope with the existential struggles of life. Number 1. Ignorance of the absurdity. For many, the most straightforward way to cope with life's existential questions is to simply ignore them. They accept the absurdity of existence as an unchangeable backdrop to life and choose not to dwell on it. They focus on daily routines, their careers, families, and the pursuit of pleasure or comfort, never pausing to interrogate the deeper purpose of it all. For a while, this approach can seem almost admirable, a quiet resilience in the face of life's uncertainties. This way of life echoes a key Stoic principle, accepting what we cannot change. Stoicism teaches us to distinguish between what is within our control and what is not, urging us to let go of the latter. However, there is a key difference. The Stoic acceptance of life's challenges is grounded in reason, reflection, and the pursuit of virtue, whereas the ignorance of the absurdity relies on avoidance. It's less about acceptance and more about deflection, a refusal to confront the unanswerable questions of existence. But can one truly remain ignorant forever? For Tolstoy, the answer was a resounding no. His own life demonstrated this conflict vividly. Despite having a life filled with material wealth, a loving family, and creative fulfillment, Tolstoy found himself overwhelmed by a gnawing sense of futility. He recognized that no amount of success or distraction could silence the deeper questions. Why are we here? What is the point of all this if it will all end in death? For those who tried to ignore these questions, life can feel like walking on thin ice. On the surface, they appear content, moving through life's motions without hesitation. Yet beneath that fragile surface lies the abyss of nihilism, waiting for the right moment, perhaps during a crisis, a loss, or a moment of stillness, to engulf them. Ignorance may shield the mind for a time, but the mind's natural inclination to seek meaning is relentless. Once the cracks appear, they are difficult to mend. Tolstoy's story reveals the limitations of living without reflection. Eventually, the existential questions he had tried to suppress overwhelmed him, pulling him into a profound spiritual and philosophical crisis. He realized that ignorance of the absurdity is not a solution, but a temporary reprieve. A house built on sand. Without a framework to understand or confront the absurdity, ignorance leaves us vulnerable when life inevitably shakes our foundations. The Stoics, by contrast, offer a way to confront life's absurdities without succumbing to despair. They encourage us to accept the things beyond our control, to focus on living virtuously, and to embrace the present moment. Tolstoy's journey eventually mirrored this wisdom in some ways, as he came to see that meaning could not be found in the distractions of the world, but in a deeper alignment with faith and humility. So, while ignoring the absurdity may seem like a simple solution, it is ultimately a fragile one. To find lasting peace, we must face the storm head-on, armed with reflection, purpose, and an acceptance of life's impermanence. Tolstoy's life reminds us that the search for meaning is not a burden. It is the essence of our humanity. Number 2, indulgence in pleasure. Indulgence in pleasure is one of the most tempting responses to life's suffering. Many seek refuge in the pursuit of material wealth, intimate relationships, entertainment, or even momentary thrills, hoping these external joys can drown out the deeper anxieties of existence. The fear of death, the burden of suffering, and the nagging sense of life's inherent meaninglessness seem, for a while, to fade into the background when we chase pleasure. This approach resonates with the principles of Epicureanism, which emphasizes seeking happiness and minimizing pain. However, where Epicurus advocated for moderation and the pursuit of inner peace through simple pleasures, this modern indulgent lifestyle often devolves into an endless and unsatisfying chase. Tolstoy vividly critiqued this way of living, comparing it to a man dangling from a vine above a pit. Below him, the abyss symbolizes the inevitability of death. Above him, a tiger represents life's unrelenting hardships. As the man clings to the vine, he notices a drop of honey. For a fleeting moment, the honey's sweetness distracts him, but it does nothing to alter the reality of his precarious position. In this metaphor, the honey is life's pleasures, delightful yet ephemeral, incapable of addressing the greater truths of human existence. Tolstoy's own life was a testament to this critique. A man of immense wealth, literary fame, and societal admiration, he indulged in all the pleasures available to him: luxury, recognition, and the distractions of the material world. Yet, as he reached his middle years, these indulgences began to feel hollow. No amount of success or acclaim could quell his existential dread. It was as though each new pursuit provided momentary sweetness but left him emptier than before, as if the more he consumed, the more he realized the honey could not sustain him. From a Stoic lens, this reliance on external pleasures is fundamentally flawed. Stoicism teaches us that true happiness must come from within, rooted in virtue and aligned with the nature of the universe. By placing our sense of fulfillment in things beyond our control, wealth, fame, physical pleasures, we set ourselves up for inevitable disappointment. These things are fleeting by their very nature, and to anchor our purpose to them is to ensure a life of constant yearning and dissatisfaction. Tolstoy's eventual rejection of this indulgent lifestyle offers a profound lesson. He realized that material success and sensory pleasures could never resolve his existential questions. Instead, he found solace in simplicity, humility, and a deeper spiritual faith. His transformation challenges us to question our own pursuits. Are we endlessly chasing drops of honey, or are we looking for a deeper, more enduring sense of purpose? Pleasure, while sweet, cannot sustain a soul longing for meaning. Perhaps, like Tolstoy, we must learn to let go of the vine, trusting that there is something greater to be found in the fall. Number 3, end the silly joke. For some, the crushing weight of life's absurdity becomes too much to bear, leading them to contemplate an escape from suffering through self-destruction. In such moments, life can feel like a cruel joke, and the idea of ending it all might seem like the only way to regain control or find relief from despair. Yet, for Tolstoy, this path represented not a solution but an ultimate failure. a surrender to the absurd rather than a confrontation with it. Suicide, he believed, was a rejection of life's potential, a refusal to engage with its profound and mysterious essence. It was, in his view, the premature closing of a story whose ending was not yet written, and in doing so, it abandoned the possibility of uncovering meaning. Tolstoy himself wrestled with these thoughts during his own existential crisis. Despite his immense success, he found himself standing on the brink of despair, questioning whether life held any purpose at all. Yet, in these darkest moments, he came to see that continuing to live, even amidst overwhelming doubt, was itself a powerful act of defiance. To endure, to persist, was to resist the void and claim the chance to discover something greater. Life's absurdity, Tolstoy realized, could not rob him of his ability to search for meaning, and this search, however arduous, was a purpose in itself. From a Stoic perspective, such endurance reflects the core principle of amor fati, or the love of fate. Life, with all its suffering and uncertainty, is not something to escape but something to embrace fully. The Stoics teach us to see challenges not as reasons for despair, but as opportunities for growth and self-discovery. Hardship, they argue, refines us, testing the mettle of our character and deepening our understanding of what truly matters. To persevere, to face despair with courage and curiosity, is to reclaim agency over one's life, refusing to let the absurd dictate the terms of existence. Tolstoy's story carries an essential message for those trapped in the shadows of despair. Do not give up on the journey. Even if the path ahead feels obscured or the questions tormenting you seem unanswerable, continue moving forward. Answers may not arrive quickly, but they come only to those who persist in seeking them. In this perseverance, you affirm the value of life, not as a finished puzzle, but as a mystery worth exploring. Ultimately, life is not a silly joke to be ended, but a profound narrative, rich with possibilities yet to be uncovered. By enduring the darkness and holding on to the thread of hope, you may find not only meaning, but also the strength and clarity to appreciate the beauty of the journey itself. The absurdity of existence is not a reason to quit. It is a call to rise above it, to shape the story of your life in defiance of despair. Number 4. Existential limbo. The fourth path Tolstoy identified is perhaps the most haunting, a state of existential limbo. This is where individuals come to grips with the harsh truths of life, its inherent futility, the inevitability of suffering, and the certainty of death. They see the absurdity of existence laid bare, yet find themselves unable to respond. They lack the hope to pursue meaning, the courage to confront despair, or the resolve to end their suffering. Instead, they remain stuck in a void, neither rejecting life outright nor embracing it with purpose. This state of passive resignation, Tolstoy believed, was the weakest form of living. It is a form of spiritual paralysis, a suspended existence where the individual neither moves forward nor backward. There is no progress, no resolution, and no growth. The individual is aware of life's challenges, but feels too drained or defeated to confront them, settling instead for mere endurance. From a Stoic perspective, this limbo stands in stark contrast to the philosophy's emphasis on purposeful action and inner strength. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot control external circumstances, we can control how we respond to them. In limbo, however, individuals relinquish even this inner agency, becoming spectators in their own lives. Tolstoy saw this state as a tragic waste of the human spirit. While life may be fraught with absurdity, it also offers opportunities for growth, connection, and discovery. To remain in limbo is to forgo these opportunities, allowing the weight of despair to render existence meaningless by default. For those who feel caught in such a state, the way out begins with the smallest act of defiance against stagnation. take a step, however small, toward engagement. Whether it is seeking knowledge, embracing new experiences, or simply nurturing curiosity. Life's absurdity may remain, but in action and movement, there is the possibility of meaning. To persist, to strive, even in the face of despair, is to reclaim your agency and begin to rise above the paralysis of existential limbo. As Tolstoy observed the poor, he was struck by their unwavering faith in God, despite their hardships. This faith, he realized, gave them purpose and resilience in the face of suffering. In contrast, he found himself disconnected from such faith. The faith of the peasants stood in stark contrast to his intellectual uncertainties and inner turmoil. He began to see that life could not be understood through reason alone. Faith in something greater than the material world offered a sense of purpose that transcended the fleeting nature of existence. This realization marked a profound shift for Tolstoy. Though he had once rejected belief in God, he came to recognize that faith, particularly in the infinite, was the key to transcending the limitations of human understanding. Faith became not just an intellectual concept for Tolstoy, but a means of enduring life's challenges and finding meaning in suffering. While his rational mind saw faith as a leap without tangible evidence, Tolstoy ultimately understood that it was the only true path to peace. Embracing this belief, he found renewed purpose, dedicating himself to helping others and living a life of humility and service. In the end, Tolstoy's life found its meaning in the very faith he had once rejected. It was not wealth nor intellectual achievement that gave his life purpose, but trust in something greater than himself. This trust led him to peace, a peace that had eluded him in his earlier quest for meaning through reason alone. Tolstoy spent his final years living humbly, focusing on the well-being of others and embracing a simpler, more purposeful existence. His journey from despair to meaning serves as a profound reminder that life's purpose often lies beyond what reason alone can grasp. Tolstoy passed away on November 20th, 1910, at the age of 82, leaving behind a legacy of profound philosophical inquiry and timeless literature. If you found Tolstoy's story compelling or resonate with the questions he wrestled with, join us at Stoic Trench to explore more about philosophy, meaning, and the art of living with purpose. Subscribe to the channel for thought-provoking insights and practical wisdom to help navigate life's challenges. Together, let's uncover what it truly means to live a meaningful life.